violent incidents. Capitals of newly created regions to be announced on Tuesday, February 12. Coming up on the foreign front, authorities in the Philippines declare an outbreak of the highly contagious measles virus. We have details coming up shortly. Do stay with us. And the Interparty Coalition for National Sovereignty has embarked on a demonstration to protest recent violent incidents, particularly the clashes at Bawaleshi during the Ayawaso West Wogon by-election. Well, the group says the protest is to demand justice for victims of the shooting incident in the by-election. The demonstration, dubbed Agbiwo, which translates into "They Are Killing Us," started from the Obra Sport in Accra at about 9 a.m. We'll bring you more updates on this particular demonstration, and let's continue with the rest of our stories. And President Koforidua is expected to issue a constitutional instrument CI to give effect to the creation of the regions and the capitals on Tuesday, February 12, where the capitals of the newly created regions are also to be named on that day.
There was overwhelming support to create 6 new regions in the referendum on December 27. Following that, residents of some towns have started lobbying for their areas to be made the capital of the newly created regions. This has led to fears over possible chaos among inhabitants of the newly created regions. The fear is that choosing one town over the other will generate misunderstanding, leading to conflicts. However, Minister for Regional Reorganization and Development, Damboche, is optimistic the chiefs and people of the areas will show maturity in deciding which area should be considered the capital.
I know that there's a discussion amongst them. I'm aware, for example, that in a particular place over the weekend, the overlord, called for stakeholders meeting, and they reach a consensus where they think their quota should be just over the weekend. Right. It's not for me to announce, but they have had that consultation. A number of people, stakeholders, all chiefs, all opinion leaders, they met at one place and they have come to a decision that they are going to present to government. I know the consultation is going on, and I'm sure sooner than later they will let government know about it.
Already, some Ghanaians have questioned whether Ghana is now officially having 16 regions, or there are some processes to affirm that. Damboche gives an explanation.
After the referendum result, Electoral Commission communicates to Mr. President. Mr. President will then issue a CI to give effect or enabling effect to results of the referendum. So that is what Mr. President is supposed to do now.
As to when this will be done, the decision lies in the hands of the President.
In other news, unclear boundary demarcation has set the Cuckoo and Koforidua Municipal Assemblies on collision course. The assemblies cast doubt over the correct boundary, leading to frequent clashes over revenue mobilization. A report by Frederick Clarence Williams.
The Cuckoo and Koforidua municipalities were among the last to be created during the Koforidua and Koforidua administrations to spur growth and development. However, unclear boundary demarcation is undermining progress, while the Cuckoo has a document with a boundary along the A-Life junction. That of the Koforidua is disputing that fact.
Where we have to get our boundary, we need to get it. I spoke about it, and I gave an example that if you are coming from Tamale station and then you get to Mobile, you are charged the Teshin fare, and if you get to First Junction, you are charged Nungwa fare. So that is where I would start from.
The dispute is affecting revenue mobilization between the two administrations, leading to frequent conflict.
Boundary issue is dear to my heart. I'm passionate about it because that is where I'll get my taxes and my money to develop. As I speak to you now, there's been a committee that has been formed. We are meeting Teshi maybe during the week, including the chiefs and the people. Then we will highly hit on the boundary issues because it's very delicate to us. It's a legacy we need to do.
Until a swift intervention from the local government and rural development ministry to resolving the impasse, the two municipalities will continue to witness several setbacks.
Let's now go to the Western region, where police are collaborating with some stakeholders to educate the people on personal security following the kidnappings of the 3 girls. In another development, the Archbishop of Accra, Bonaventure Kofi, who did visit families of the victims, is calling for a well-structured intra-city transport system for easy identification. A report by Irama Smith.
With no news coming from the investigations into the whereabouts of the 3 kidnapped girls, many people here in the Sekondi Takoradi metropolis are living in fear and anxiety. So what next is what everybody is asking. The police, the NCC and the Information Service have now started a campaign to sensitize the citizenry about personal security. Today, they are at the Fijai Senior High School.
We are educating our second cycle institutions for them to be aware of issues going on around them, to give them security tips, and also to give them some crime prevention on issues relating to kidnapping. Now this issue is on our hand. That is the reason why we are in these schools, to educate them on what to do, what not to do, how to avoid being on social media. You realize that is where they get all this information, and these criminals get access to them from this social media.
Any updates on the 3 girls who were kidnapped?
Yeah, currently we are still under, the case is still under investigations. Very soon we'll update the public as to what is going on. But I want to assure the family that police is doing everything possible to ensure that we are able to rescue the ladies.
Some of the students lauded the program.
I've got to learn that in order to prevent yourself being a victim of kidnappers, you have to prevent yourself from communicating with strangers, and also you shouldn't meet people at isolated places.
It has been very, very beneficial to us, and we are very grateful to them.
Meanwhile, the Archbishop of Accra, Bonaventure Kofi, who visited the families of the 3 kidnapped victims, has called for a well-structured intra-city transport system for easy identification in the event of an emergency.
Here, the Interparty now is very difficult. Anyone entering into a taxi is afraid because they are not well organized. The transportation system is not well organized, and then you can just stand anywhere and then call the taxi person, and you just say, "Okay, I'm going to go to this." This thing should stop. And then all taxis should be registered, and at the station be registered. You go there to take a taxi to go to another place. You know that, look, I entered into this taxi, and then of course the authorities, they know that type of taxi that is taking you to another station, another destination. We all must be aware of that.
For TV3 News, Irama Smith, Takoradi.
Let's now go to the northern region, where police has commenced investigations into the stealing of 2 AK-47 assault rifles by unknown gunmen who stormed the Katbayili community in the Tamale metropolis and opened fire on armed officers of Operation Calm Life on February 3, 2019. The Northern Regional Police Public Relations Officer DSP Yusuf Tanko, who confirmed this incident, said the gunmen immediately opened fire on the policemen on duty and took 2 of their AK-47 rifles and by alleged armed robbers. He added the regional command has since initiated investigations. He called on the general public to assist the police with any information that can lead to the arrest of the criminals. In a related development, a prison officer at the Tamale Central Prisons, CPL Saki Emmanuel Kwabna, is in the grips of the Northern Region Police Command for possessing substances believed to be Indian hemp, while the suspect is in police custody and will be charged for possession of a substance without authority. Midday Live, and earlier today we had a demonstration, and the Interparty Coalition for National Sovereignty embarked on that demonstration to protest the recent violent incidents, particularly the clashes at Bawaleshi during the Ayawaso West Wogon by-election. While the group says the protest is to demand justice for victims of the shooting incidents in that particular incident. Well, Godfred Tanam is there and gives us live updates.
We are ministry, and here are the police regional headquarters. The national headquarters here are the police the group has presented their petition to the IGP here, and then they are moving to the Flagstaff House to present the final petition. So it was Samuel Oposampa of the NDC, that is the chairman of the NDC, and then the convener of the group, Benamona, presented a petition to the IGP, and the place was so tense that we could not exactly hear what they told the IGP. But now, as I'm speaking, they are moving to the Flagstaff House to present a petition to the president. So that is exactly what is happening. So the presentation of the petition has been done here at the headquarters of the police, and then they're moving to the Flagstaff House to present the final petition.
Thank you very much, Godfrey Tanam, for that update. You're still watching Midday Live. Let's now continue with the rest of our stories. And a group of teachers calling themselves Alliance for Teachers are accusing the Ghana Education Service of banning the use of cane as a means of disciplining school children without broader consultation with teachers. Well, according to them, teachers are still finding it difficult to implement the new methods introduced last month.
The Ghana Education Service banned caning in all schools last year. The service argued that corporal punishment inflicts physical pain on children, compelling teachers to use alternative forms of sanctions when they need to punish students. But the group, Alliance for Teachers, does agree to the ban.
To abolish caning in school, we know the effect it has had on some children. If you want to get it out of the system, and you want to introduce it, you should be able to first of all sensitize teachers for some period of time, so that teachers will know that from henceforth, caning is going to be out of the system. So they are going to now make up their mind and look, we are going to brace ourselves for a new way of discipline. If there could be papers, I understand there are papers circulating out there. Guidance and counseling units of the GES have brought out some ways and means that we can discipline the children. At least as I'm sitting down here, I'm a teacher myself. I've not even received any brochure or anything.
A GES research revealed the effects of corporal punishment, including physical scar, trauma, fear, and timidity.
We have developed the Safe School Resource Pack, which has all the relevant things that we have to know about the 3 violent behaviors in our school system: corporal punishment, bullying, and sexual harassment. There's a third document. The first one is the Teacher's Handbook on Safe Schools. The second one is the training manual. And the third one is the peer-to-peer manual. The peer-to-peer manual specifically targets children, because we want the children to know that if you have taken the corporal punishment out of the system, it does not give you the leeway to misbehave.
The GES insists that the park will help build the needed confidence for academic work.
Away from education, management of NAPCO has cautioned recruits on the Hail Ghana model not to resist night and weekend duties, while those who will resist, according to management, will be withdrawn from the program and others enrolled. The Greater Accra Region Coordinator of NAPCO, Haj Baba Mohammed, spoke exclusively to our correspondent Daniel Opoku.
Some of the NAPCO recruits posted to the various health centers have begun complaining about night duties. Others have also raised concerns about working on weekends, claiming they start work at 8 a.m. and close at 2 p.m., citing unfair labor practices. However, the management of NAPCO has cautioned those to stop resisting weekend duties or risk their exit from the program.
Those who are resisting to cooperate, yes, it means you are not ready to work with NAPCO, and you are not ready to help Mother Ghana move forward, and therefore you must exit from the program. They draw a monthly roster where they are supposed to rotate monthly. So if it gets to your time, you are supposed to come in the night, and you say you cannot, that one will never be countenanced.
Currently, some recruits are still complaining of not receiving their monthly stipend. The management said those recruits will be paid after resolving their problems with their bankers.
2000, these are people with GN bank issues. It has just been resolved that we'll pay them with the GN Bank e-switch numbers this month, this December stipends, but the subsequent ones will be paid with the e-switch numbers, the new e-switch numbers they provided.
Meanwhile, NAPCO has organized a monitoring training for its regional and district coordinators expected to provide monthly reports from beneficiaries of the program.
Let's go back to our earlier story where President Koforidua is expected to issue a constitutional instrument to give effect to the creation of the regions and capitals on Tuesday, February 12. The capitals of the newly created regions are also to be named on that day.
The results of the referendum, which created the new regions, have been gazetted by the Electoral Commission, and the President issuing the CI will be the final act to be performed for the full creation and inauguration of the new regions. The names of some towns have been bandied around, especially in the media, as front-runners to be named as the capitals of the new regions, but the President will put the issue to rest when he makes the announcement next week. Some chiefs and opinion leaders are in the forefront for the selection of their favorite towns as the capitals. However, the OT movement, a group of chiefs and opinion leaders in the northern part of the Volta region who submitted the petition that led to the creation of the region, has indicated its readiness to accept any town chosen as the regional capital. But Jasikan, KJB and Ketekrachi are strong contenders. For the northeast region, Na Mahami Sherega has made a strong case for Nalerigu to be made the capital, indicating that the town was strategically located at the center of the new region and that it would be convenient for all the people in the region to access it. But Nalerigu will be facing stiff competition from Waliwale, which has also been mentioned as a strong contender. For the Savannah region, the overlord of the Gonja traditional area, Yagbonwura Suleiman Najakpa Tuntumba I, said Damongo was best suited as the regional capital, despite the different views being expressed. Coming strongly from another end is Bole, which also represents a strong argument for selection as the regional capital. Salaga is also in contention. Some of the notable towns that have come up as strong contenders for the capital of the Ahafo region are Gwaso, Mim, Doaya Nkwanta, Bichem, Shidiem, and Kenyase. There's also strong competition among the towns in the Bono East region for the capital, with Techiman and Atebubu being the major contenders. The people of Kintampo, a town said to be in the center of the country, are also asking the government to consider it as the capital of the Bono East region. In the Western North region, Bibieni, Sefi Rioso and Sefi Bekwai are in contention for the capital.
And even before the February 12 date, there has been intense lobbying by some chiefs, opinion leaders and residents. Let's take a look at some suggested capital towns. And let's begin from the northeast region, and two towns are in contention. We have Nalerigu as well as Walewale. Early on, the paramount chief of Mampugu made a case for Nalerigu, saying that most of the chiefs live over there, so that town should be made the capital of the northeast region, as well as saying it will bring about development and the creation of jobs for the youth, because there is investment potential in limestone. There's vast land for agricultural purposes as well as tourism. In the north, in the Ahafo region as well, we have some towns in contention: Dwaya Nkwanta, Mim, Bechem, as well as Kenyase. In Techiman, that will be for the Western North region. The towns in contention are Sefi Bekwai and Bibieni. In the Ahafo region, we have Goso, Shidiem, Mim, Bechem, Dwaya Nkwanta, as well as Kenyase. In the Oti region, three towns are in contention. We have Ketekrachi, Kajebi, as well as Jasikan. And then in the Savannah region, some towns are in contention. We have Bole, Damongo, as well as Salaga. In the Western North region, residents are already lobbying, and those in supporting Bibiania claim the town is the center of the new region and would be easily accessible to all people in Western North. And those making a case for Seshiri also are saying the municipality has infrastructure to host the regional capital. So those are the towns in contention. We will wait for February 12 when President Koforidua will announce the towns for these regions. And we will be talking to Dr. Mohammed Asah. He is a development analyst on this. Good afternoon, sir, and thanks for joining us. Dr. Mohammed Asah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Manchester.
First of all, what should go into choosing these capitals?
Okay. Hello.
Hello, Doc. I was asking what should go into choosing these capitals?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just trying to get a position well.
Okay.
Get a clearer network.
So, Doc, ahead of the February 12 date that President Koforidua is expected to announce the towns of the newly created regions, what should go into choosing these capitals?
Okay, so you are talking about the considerations for the new capital.
Exactly.
For the new region. Okay, yeah. So I think this issue, I've talked about it a number of times, but we need to first of all understand the administrative rules of all the regions. The local government system has made it very clear that the various regions, particularly the regional coordinating councils, can you hear me?
Yes, Doc.
Yeah, I'm getting some bad feedback. Hello?
Do carry on, Doc.
Yeah. Yeah, please, can you ask them to reconnect and just call me back again? I'm getting some feedback. I suspect me.
All right. You're still watching Midday Live from the News Hub. What do you think about the creation of the new regions and the capital towns, which will be announced by President Koforidua? Do get interactive with us, Facebook or twitter.com/TV3Ghana. Let's now continue in other news. And a Deputy Minister of Communications, Vincent Sowa Odote, says efforts are being made to identify gaps in the existing legal frameworks and international child online protection. He was speaking on the sidelines of Safer Internet Day celebration in Accra.
A 2017 Child Online Practices report by UNICEF indicates that 19% of children in Ghana use the internet daily. 36% of them use it weekly, while 21% use it monthly. They are exposed to internet threats such as child online pornographic content, sexting, and cyberbullying. Deputy Minister of Communications hinted government intervention to identify and deal with gaps in the existing legal framework on cyber issues.
A lot of the Criminal Act, the Electronic Transaction Act and others, when they were promulgated, there was no internet. But at least some of them make provisions for that. We are looking at the legal gaps to ensure that we bring all of them in line, and so that we'll be able to adequately deal with the issues of cybercrime and then cyber security. I mean, we have actually trained all those involved in the prosecution chain.
National Cybersecurity Advisor Albert Nchubo-Isiakon underscored the need to implement the country's existing cyber laws.
One of the critical areas is the safety of children on the internet, and that is why today's event is focusing on creating awareness to ensure the children, the young, the youth are able to use internet responsibly. So it's more like an empowerment. Educating them, appreciating the opportunities that is available on the internet, but also the risks that we face, and then we can collectively as a country promote this.
Executive Director of Child Online Africa, Awo Amenya, said more needs to be done to protect children on internet use.
We started this Safer Internet Day celebration in 2015 for a good reason, and we are so happy other people are coming on board and taking advantage of the day to create the needed awareness. We've also gone far by engaging with other African countries to ensure that the space is safe enough. So for us, it shouldn't be a one-day event, a one-day photo opportunity, but it should be a continuous action, continuous deliberate step, which will run through the year to ensure that children are safe.
Safer Internet Day is an EU-wide initiative to promote a safer internet for all users, especially young people.
Let's now go to Parliament, where the Privileges Committee has suspended the hearing of an alleged contempt of Parliament case brought against Kennedy Ejapon. The committee sat yesterday to hear from the Minority Chief Whip, Muntanka Mohammed, and Kennedy Ejapon, but the committee was served with a notice of motion to the Speaker by lawyers of Kennedy Ejapon. Andrew Ejapa Mesa is the Vice Chairman of the Privileges Committee, and he spoke to Evelyn Tingma.
Pretty much unanimous, except one person who felt that we could go ahead. But there was a general consensus amongst the entire membership of the committee that, having regard to the fact that we've been given notice of that application, it would be inappropriate for us to proceed. And so it was decided that we stay the proceedings of that hearing.
So did Mr. Kennedy Ejapon or his lawyers give any indication as to why they are bringing a motion?
Well, that is not for us to be told, and so we didn't have to inquire into it. Our only role was to determine whether, in view of the motion that had been filed, we still were clothed with jurisdiction to proceed with the matter, and we came to the conclusion that no. The motion, bear in mind that the committee is the Speaker's committee, and so if an application is brought to the Speaker to, as it were, stop its committee from doing the work that has been referred to, it is not for us to ask questions.
When do we expect this motion to be taken on the floor?
Unfortunately, I'm the wrong person to ask, because Mr. Speaker will have to make that determination. And I'm sure you are aware that Mr. Speaker himself is out of the jurisdiction. And so I'm sure that as soon as he comes...
You're still watching Midday Live. We have more news coming up shortly. Do stay with us. In more news this afternoon, top security officials are currently holding a stakeholder meeting to fashion out modalities to deal particularly with political vigilantism. They are expected to come out with an agreement that would be called the Peduase or Ebri Declaration. In the meeting are security chiefs, analysts, the CID and the BNI. Salom Amenya is at the meeting and speaks to us on phone. And Salom, what have the security couples been discussing?
Well, they are actually discussing modalities as to how to deal with political vigilantism. They feel that this has become a canker that is actually eating into the democratic fiber of the nation. And the president, we are told by the information minister, wants this particular issue dealt with once and for all. So at the end of the day, they are going to come up with a roadmap to dealing with this particular canker once and for all, and that is what they will be calling the PPRC or Ebri Declaration. So we have here civil society, that is the IDEC boss, we have political scientists, we have CSOs all available, we have the clergy. They are all together, putting their heads together to function out how we can deal with this particular thing. But the information minister speaking to us made us aware that they have been in this particular meeting for some couple of days, and it is possible they will be wrapping up today. Apart from that, he's telling us that it is a wish of the president that after this declaration, political vigilantism will be a thing of the past.
Salam, you did mention that some civil society groups were over there. Do we have representation from other political parties?
No, what we are told is that the political parties have also and brought out their suggestions, and all these will be factored in. So it is these documents that other stakeholders have met to discuss that they are now discussing over here to fashion out with a roadmap.
Thank you very much, Salom Amenya, for your time. You're still watching Midday Live, and coming up is business news.
The business news segment is brought to you by MTN, Universal Merchant Bank.
Banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etuahene wants officials involved in the falsification of Unibank's documents on their assets sanctioned. A reconciliatory report on the inventory of assets and property of defunct Unibank, which is currently in receivership, has shown that the bank's total liabilities far exceed its assets.
In the reconciliatory report, the bank's total liabilities far exceed its assets by 7.2 billion cedis as opposed to 6.5 billion cedis in March 2018 when it was put under the administration of KPMG. Of the 7.2 billion cedis, customer deposits are 3.8 billion cedis, while amounts due other banks are 4.9 billion cedis. Its borrowings total 324.6 million cedis, while another 279.1 million cedis is captured by other liabilities. This banking consultant, Dr. Richmond Etuahene, is amazed at the turn of events.
Seriously, there was no credit given to anybody. They only bloated the assets to tell the whole world that they have given so much to customers. But when you go into it and ask yourself, then it means that they falsify the account, the loan book, and then submitted it to the Bank of Ghana.
He is therefore calling for the sanctioning of all officials involved in the bloating of the company's assets.
The people who falsify is as equally guilty as those who have stolen. And we seem not to be taking any serious action. So I think that a time has come with a report inside, now on site for us. An action should be taken against those who perpetuated it, and also those who received this data earlier, who never vouched and verified that they were dealing with the real loan book.
The KPMG report further reveals that 91% of the gross loans were not paid at their due date.
In other business news, Head of Economics Division at the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Korte, has described government's decision to support a private arrangement to invest in 5 banks as a timely intervention that will help protect jobs and retain indigenous ownership in the sector. He says this arrangement would help inject efficiency into the banks.
The Ghana Amalgamated Trust, a special purpose vehicle, was established in December to pool resources from private investors, including pension funds, and invest in 5 well-governed but undercapitalized banks. Of the 23 banks currently in operation, 9 banks, representing 39%, are Ghanaian-owned. While some stakeholders have spoken against the support for the beneficiaries of the fund, Head of Economics at the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISA, Professor Peter Korte, said it is important that such banks are not allowed to collapse.
Central Bank has streamlined its monitoring mechanisms, supervision mechanisms. So I believe this same structure should be used so that there is regular reporting. It could be monthly, it could be quarterly, to ensure that they remain profitable and they give value for money.
Earlier, some labor unions raised concerns about government's failure to consult them before considering the usage of pension funds for the Ghana Amalgamated Trust. But Professor Peter Korte says labor must engage further.
I think the labor unions should take it easy because you ask yourself, what if that option, using GAT to support the banks, that option was not used? What happens if these banks should go down? I mean, the repercussions on employment, on people's livelihood will be much higher than not supporting them. So I think we should government should dialogue with them, and they should know that these are money that are going to be invested in banks that are run very well, banks that have good corporate governance structures, and they will yield the needed returns.
Government is expected to issue a $403 million bond this month to support solvent and well-governed indigenous banks under the Ghana Amalgamated Trust.
Users of the mobile money interoperability platform are likely to enjoy some cost reduction, while this, managers of the platform say, is to boost subscription and increase financial inclusion.
The mobile money interoperability platform was launched in May last year to, among other things, provide a platform for easy and convenient transfer of funds from one telecommunications network to another. The move was part of government's agenda to achieve a cashless society and also digitize the economy. Currently, users are charged 1.5% on monies transferred, a development which customers say is rather on the high. CEO of Gibbs, developers of the platform, Achihese, says his outfit has begun stakeholder consultation on reducing the cost.
Despite the convenience that we have, we still believe that there's a need for us to grow the volumes. As the volumes increases, as we are seeing now, we believe that we can go back, have a look at our cost structure, and then possibly reduce the current price.
He added that intensified education in the use of these platforms is a way to go towards achieving a cashless society.
We would educate them about these advantages and then support them along the journey. There are times when individuals and corporates actually seize the advantages and reasons why they should use it. But the change process can be cumbersome, and under the circumstances, a need for individuals or a team to be supporting them with the change management process.
The platform has also made it possible for people to transfer funds from their mobile money wallets to their bank account without physically going to a banking hall or using the platform of a fintech.
And that's it for the latest in business news. Up next is sports news with Yao Ofusulabi. Coming up in this segment, musically high life legend Abranti Amachi Dede is a force to reckon with. Well, before we take that story on lifestyle that was yesterday, we are asking, do you fancy growing a dreadlock? Also, Warai takes us to La, a suburb of Accra, where keeping a dreadlock and rasta hair has become the order of the day. A major motivation for the lifestyle is that young ladies easily fall for men in locks.
So welcome to La, a suburb of Accra, where keeping a dreadlock and a tattoo is fast becoming a trend among the young men here. Oh yes, it's become a fashion, and the reality is every 3 out of 5 young men you meet on the street of La either has a dreadlock or a tattoo. But really, what is the motivation for it?
Young men in La have developed a taste for dreadlocks. The motivation for the hairstyle, however, differs.
Because I want to be like somebody, that's why.
I love it. Feel like a big boy. Yeah. Okay, you feel like a big boy. Yeah. Why do you think a lot of people are going for the locks?
It's sick of the women, you know. By the time the women, the day, chow. Yeah, sick of the girls too, like the men who like to do rasta and locks. Yeah.
And so you get a lot of people coming to you and then admiring you because of
plenty ladies, you know. You see, as a beautiful guy, so I used to kill them.
Meet Real Money, a dancer and a goalkeeper. The young star feels great about his looks, and in his own words, growing rasta is a dream come true.
As I was a student, I decided to do Rasta, and as time goes on, I completed school and I said, oh no, I need to let my dream come true.
I love it.
But the stereotype associated with the hairstyle is real.
If it's somebody, you know, he talks, say, this boy be bad, but you don't be bad.
Mommy sees me, but just you see that?
Yeah, but what's it?
No, I don't do that. You can't judge me with my clothes.
Young men in locks are negatively tagged. They don't easily come by office work.
But again, I don't know why. If you use your locks to go and look for a job, they will be telling you be bad boy. Yeah, you dey smoke, you see, but I mean, you never smoke. Locks is not a bad thing, but if you want to do a locks, you must to get your own job doing. Take off the locks. You can't go and stand in somebody's face that I want job with locks.
But the challenges notwithstanding, a major motivation is that young women here easily fall for men in dreadlocks.
Have the girls been coming to you?
Yeah, my man, it is true. You see ladies who come, Chalo, Rasta near me, let's do this, you know?
Yes, it's true. Because they keep it nice and they wash it. Yeah.
The girls in this town, they actually move out with guys with dreadlocks. Because I asked a lady why, like she was like, it's beautiful, like she like dreadlocks guys.
It's something that is going on here, and I think it's basically because of most of the celebrities, like kind of the Shatawale, the kind of hairstyles that they have, and most of the guys are trying to be like them.
I feel attractive for some people when they are having the dreadlocks. Yeah.
The discrimination is real.
They love the dread. What are they doing to us? With their
bald-headed men in La will certainly not be happy with the trend.
Ghana ladies, when you are telling us like that, where do you want us to go?
Interesting developments over there in line. That's it for Midday Live. Thanks so much for watching. I am Portia Gabo. Good afternoon.